because the postal offices are failing. It's a fact, and they lost the past 2 years 70% of their volumes into other providers because they can't afford that type of service.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ecommerce Coffee Break Podcast. In today's episode, we want to talk about e-commerce shipping, and we want to touch on different areas on what that involves and how you can optimize your shipping. Now, global shipping is the backbone of e-commerce, and it comes with many challenges. And I have an expert with me, Erez Sages. He's the founder and CEO of iBundle, a pioneering tech e-commerce logistic platform optimizing international supply chain for global brands. With deep expertise in supply chain automation and scalable growth strategies, he has helped business streamline operations, enhance delivery efficiency. So I would like to welcome him to the show. Hi, Erez. How are you today?
Hello. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you, Claus.
Erez, shipping can be very complex. What are the biggest issues affecting global e-commerce shipping right now?
I think that at the moment we can see a lot of diversity and changes in regulations. Just yesterday, we had the announcement of Trump's new administration signing the executive orders of changing the way the US, one of the biggest consumers in the world, are approaching e-commerce and tax and duties and how they look at the cross-border shipping trade. So I think that's one of the main concerns at the moment in our niche of B2C, B2B, cross-border shipping. That's a huge threat and a huge opportunity at the same time. So I think that's one of the most interesting issues at the moment, and what are the solutions out there, and how as a logistic company or e-commerce business, how they're going to handle it from their perspective. And now it really depends where you are. You're in China, you have different duties, you're in regulations. You're in the UK, in Europe. In each country got his own kind of method. So it complex things, and we know that supply chain is complex anyways. So to add to it another complexity, which can be very downside, and also a great opportunity for lots of brands that haven't got into a cross-border to sell cross-border worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Shipping logistic has been a very traditional business for a very long time, but there's a lot of innovation, specifically with AI that came in. And as everyone has to ship out their products, obviously you need to look into it and optimize. What are the latest innovations in tech when it comes to logistics?
I think that the latest, we're looking at ourselves and iBundle as entrepreneurs in the supply chain. We involved a lot of AI in our system and optimize the routes. So understanding what is the best way to ship from A to Z, and to find the best route in order to do it. And there's lots of ways. There's lots of providers that's their job. That's what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And we're here in order to find the best solution for every single package, and to determine which option is going to be the most beneficial for the business and for the client. The e-commerce world is developing enormously, and it's changing a lot in the past 5-6 years. The logistics aren't, and there's a gap, and this gap is can be leveraged due to technology. And first of all, understanding what are the problems. Second of all, understanding how to solve them within the existing options, and to add on them lots of other different shipping methods using technology capabilities. AI, I know it's a buzz and everyone likes to say AI, and that's how because it's the new thing out there. But I can talk on our behalf, and our innovation part of it is, I would say, kind of a brain behind the scenes that controls that shipping tower, who controls each and every route, each and every way from A to Z, which one is the best option, not just on price wise, on time of arrival, on regulations, on Was the journey was successful at the past? Was it not successful? So we learn all those, and we learn not just from us. We learn from a lot of different couriers, logistics providers, e-commerce businesses. We learn from their data, and we learn from their past experience on ages codes, on regulations, on ETAs, on last mile providers, on returns, a percentage of return per courier, percentage of loss, percentage of damages, and then we show our customers we think that's the best option, not just one but multiple options that we think you should approach from your destination from A to Z, and in that way we find a cost effective way for our clients and for their clients B2B2C, and we're always trying to create a successful path. So the logistics world, it's not that they don't care if the package will make it or not. They do, they care, but to some instance, like the big threes, UPS, FedEx, DHL, you can ship with them and it's great. They won't guarantee anything. We won't guarantee anything as well, but you can ship whatever you want to wherever you want. And it might stuck in customs, it might go back. We're trying not to do that. We're trying to understand, first of all, if what's the success ratio for that package and that material to arrive from A to Z, and what we think you should avoid of doing. And it helped us a lot. Obviously, it's a lot of taking upon of us and a lot of things that we need to understand before we decide. Nothing is 100%, but the chances that the journey from A to Z will be accomplished by this method are high likely. So the system will choose that option because we don't want to have thousands of Wismo. Where's my package from end clients to the business and get hit by them? That's not cost effective for us, even though if it's going to cost for all of us another $2 at the end of the day. We prefer to have low Wismos, great success, and I think that's where the e-commerce world is going at the moment. As everyone wants quiet, they want to sell their goods, they want to make sure it arrives to the client. They want to make sure it's in a comfortable price, so they're still making money or subsidizing the shipment, but not hearing back from their customer a bad experience at the end of the day, which reflects on their store. So I think that's the key element at the moment with e-commerce global shipping.
Yeah, I think a lot of listeners can feel you. And I have been a seller for 8 years on Shopify. And the last thing you want to do is dealing with customer requests when UPS or one of the bigger ones messed it up. And then you have an unhappy customer, probably not a returning customer. And it's just a lot of waste of time involved in there. And obviously it comes up for a cost. Now let's talk about cost. At iBundle, you do things a little bit differently when it comes to cross-border shipping. Tell me how that works.
Yes, so we're trying to find for each customer, we're trying to find the best option for him. So we know there's not one shipping option for customers. He has some expensive items that he would like to ship express and have some insurance on top of them, and that usually is around 15-20% of a regular medium-sized business. The rest used to be 4 or 5 years ago, shipped by postal services. Now, these days, most of postal services are not really compliant with e-commerce services. You can't really ship something with a post option from A to Z in a marketplace and not have an answer in 3 weeks' time. Where's my package? It's your grade is gonna go down, and therefore, all what you just said at the moment. Not happy customers, not happy business, not happy marketplace. Everyone is unhappy. It's a combination of those things, and because the postal offices are failing, it's a fact, and they lost the past 2 years 70% of their volumes into consolidators, into to other providers. Because they can't afford that type of service. Everyone needs to be Amazon-oriented service. It needs to be there. It needs to be on the spot. It needs to be fast. It needs to be cheap. It needs to have the whole package. And it's very hard to do so. So we always find those 15-20% of, we'll call it express and fast service, and the other 80% with mixed options that we can find and help the customers. Usually they're a bit higher than the postal service, but they're much more sufficient for e-commerce businesses. So it's always in between. Really depends on the business itself. Sometimes depends on the checkout strategy that the business has. Free shipping. So obviously you need to choose something that will lie in between the express and the postal, just in between. And that's the aggregators, the consolidators, the freight forwarders, the Type 86 into the US and the IOSSs into Europe. So we're finding the best solution, tailor-made per customer. And we're integrated to all of these brokers, last mile providers, freight forwarders. So we're building the shipping method for the business itself. So I think that's also very unique. And doing everything by the system, by that brain that I said before. That's our secret sauce. How to build it all and make it all work. Nothing is always 100% automatically, but most of the stuff that we do are automatically, and we involve AI in it, like we mentioned in the beginning, and makes thing much faster. And it's just a very exciting time to be in that industry, I think.
Yeah, it just highlights that shipping logistics is a very complex topic. And I didn't know that 70% of the volume went away from the traditional post office, which shows you that you need to be on top of the game to not lose money by shipping as an online seller. How does it work if you are a omni seller? So you're selling on multiple platforms, like say Amazon, Shopify, eBay, whatsoever. Now, all of a sudden you have different platforms you're selling on, and with that comes more complexity. How can you handle that? How can you make that easier?
Yeah, so we have a multi-channel for those e-commerce brands. We have more than 40 different integrations into marketplaces and website builders such as Shopify, WordPress, etc. And in few clicks, we integrate the stores into iBundle, then we get all the orders into the system, and we for every client we choose rules. So there's kind of a rule after we understood the method we want to operate with you. We operate automation rules that will choose every time the option for Spain, use X, Y, Z. For X, you need a documentation, say country of origin X, in order to avoid taxes. So all of those things will be behind the scenes automatically, and choose the best option for your shipping. It doesn't matter where it came from, which marketplace. Obviously, each marketplace has its own rules, its own regulations, its own tracking method. So we're trying to be very, very sensitive to it, and to provide them whatever they need in each marketplace. And the customer at the end of the day has a visibility that shipping tower. It can look at it in one place in iBundle and understand this order came from Etsy, and it went with X. This one came from Amazon, went with Y. This one is also, I have a warehouse in the US where I do some Amazon, I do some of my own. So I have that as well. So I can manage everything from one-stop shop, if you call it, if you will. That's how we support those multiple integration marketplaces.
Okay, now it makes perfect sense to have everything in one place, specifically with platforms like Amazon, where you need to prove that you have delivered and whatsoever, and you get punished if you can't. You want to have everything in one place. Now, if you have delivered successfully to the client, obviously there's a huge percentage of clients who are sending it back, have a return. How do you track returns?
So there's two kind of return, like in very high level, there's two kind of returns. There's a return to sender, which was there was a kind of a failure to arrive to the client. So everything arrives to our facility, it gets scanned there, it shows on the system, and we decide with the customer. Some customers would like to destroy it, some customers would like to ship it back, some guys would like to wait with it a few months until they have some kind of a bundle to go back. So it depends. That's option A. Option B, it's an option to provide, because we're dealing with cross-border. So to provide those customers with an option to return their goods and it arrived, it's not my size, I want to return it. So we have a unique link for every customer that customers there can print a label, go and drop off their package in the next post office. It will all arrive to our warehouse. We will consolidate it again and ship it back to destination. So we provide both options for returns.
Mm-hmm. I think and you talk me through to your Shopify app, please. How does it work to calculate all the shipping rates, tax, duties, whatever, so that the customer during the checkout already knows what he pays for the whole logistics process? How does it work?
Yeah, so there's an iBundle app on Shopify. So it's very easy to use. It's a simple download, and then iBundle will provide you, after we have a conversation, you can provide it. You can download it and have everything in place, but it's recommended to have a conversation with us afterwards, so we can build the structure for you. While you're doing it, we can advise for the client what's going to be the duties and tax in origin, in destination, what's going to be the shipping cost, shipping options that we can provide him. Two shipping options. One is free. It's free for the client, but it's not obviously free for the business. So he needs to know how much it's going to cost. If it's flying from the UK to the US to Texas, that's option A. But if it flies to Alaska, then obviously that's not apples to apples. It's need to reflect also to the client on the checkout. So it really depends on the customer himself, the business, how he wants to, the strategy he wants to have on his Shopify store. Do I want to show the duties and tax, or I don't want to afraid the client? I want to pay it myself and deduct it from the price. So there's lots of ways, and we can choose whatever option you want and eliminate whatever you don't want. A lot of customers don't want, back in the days, 2 years ago, no one would want to show the duties and tax on the checkout. So it led to 60% of cart abandonment, just to show the duties and tax on the checkout. So a lot of people would avoid it. And by the way, post offices arrive to destination, calling you, you have $60 to pay for that package, and now either you pay it or not, and that's too late. That's already too late. You want to be at the checkout itself and make sure that the strategy you took is the right strategy per that destination, and you want to be as upfront as you can with your customers and make sure it's free shipping. Make sure they know the duties and tax. Make sure they know that's the ETA. So you have not as much noise as it can be, and keep your clients happy. That's the most important thing, and automate your process as a business, not to deal with it all day long and understand from multiple charts and multiple services which option should I choose. So we save on that a lot of time for businesses, going over charts and deciding which option should I use today. For this destination, for this weight, for this zip code, with this commodity. There's a lot into it, and the system does lots of organization in our business's mind in order to reflect to him every time what's the really best option for you. And that's our aim, to make it simple and to make it cost effective for the businesses.
Yeah. Who's your perfect customer? How long does the onboarding take?
It really depends. We have micro businesses, small and medium-sized businesses that they can onboard by themselves. And if they're tech-oriented, usually they will get it pretty fast and they can start shipping by themselves. I think our the best client, or our most the best client are medium-sized clients. Medium-sized, each country classified differently, but medium-sized customers that they pretty much know, they have some experience. They have some experience. They understand. They're not just pushing for the lowest price out there, but they understand the value of automation. They understand the value of finding different methods. They understand the value of support and automated support. And businesses that understand that automation is the new tool. You don't have to hire 20 people just to find the tracking on each package. And you can understand it, and Usually those are the best clients. We also work with a lot of logistic providers that um, provide solution for e-commerce businesses. And so
Mhm.
logistic providers who provide e-commerce to e-commerce businesses solutions. So we work there as a partnership, and we provide them both the full solution. It works amazingly together. We found that, and you can scale and you can work in a lot of places worldwide with this kind of partnership method. So those are the two favorite clients, I would say.
Okay, cool. Obviously, you charge for this. What's your pricing structure? How does that work?
We don't charge any monthly fee or anything like that. We charge per transaction. So
Mhm.
every transaction that a client made on the system, that's why you can ship 1,000 or 2 shipments a month. We will charge you just on what you ship. We don't take any additional charges outside of it. In order for it to be cost effective, for also we started from very micro businesses and we grew with them to medium, and we have some enterprises as well. But our heart is always with the small and medium size that are struggling, and for them it's just it's the difference between the game if I'm going to survive or not. Usually with those businesses that ship 100 shipments a month, it's a small business and every cent counts, and
Mhm.
and we know that we started at that point, so it's very important for us not to be cheap, but to have access to all kind of customers who want to have access to our system. Uh, that's one of our flags that we started with, and we support them.
Okay, no, it makes sense. And I think a very important thing that you highlighted earlier is that you need to be transparent with your clients and not having them upset when they get the notice that they have to pay another $60 or something on that. Cost of acquisition of a new client is already very high. Profit margins for a lot of online sellers there are not that huge. So you really want to optimize, you want to be transparent, and obviously you want to use automation as much as possible to make your own life easier. Now, before our coffee break comes to an end today, is there anything that you want to share with our listeners that we haven't covered yet?
I think that we will share. We just heard yesterday on the Trump administration part, which are going to shuffle the cards a bit, and I think that a lot of businesses that used to do B2B will shift to B2C, or
Mhm.
try to do B2B on under the B2C on the minimis up to $800. So I think it's going to be a lot of shifting towards those kind of methods that we support.
Mhm.
So I think it's very challenging from one end, but on the other hand, there's a great opportunity, and businesses shouldn't be afraid from those from these taxes, but try to find creative ways, and we can help there how to handle those kind of scenarios, and there's many options that can be done from many places worldwide into the US. That's the biggest market out there. So I think we would love obviously to support those businesses anywhere in the world that need solutions into the US, into the UK, into Europe. We're scaling very fast in those regions, and we're always looking to optimize and find new partners in regions that we don't work at the moment to have high bundle exposure out there. Yeah, that's I think the only part.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, but if you have an expert on your side like yours to coach you through this process and to make the most out of it, then there is huge opportunities, and you might even be better than most of your competitors and crush the market with a better solution than the others have.
Yeah.
Where can people find out more about you guys?
So we have a website, ibundle.net. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, and emails, of course, and I can share my email afterwards. And happy to answer any questions, any business that had need consulting on his cross-border shipping. We're very happy to help. Sometimes we're the best solution, sometimes we're not. That's okay. We're friends with everyone, and we just like to improve ourselves, improve the way shipping is done on the cross-border way. We find it fascinating. I find the logistic world fascinating, and how to involve the tech into it. It's just mind-blowing when you understand it fully. So happy to share it with the listeners, customers, knowledge base, domain experts. Happy to touch base with them.
Cool. I hope a lot of listeners will reach out to you. If you're selling online, logistics is the most important thing. And to have that right, you need to talk to an expert. So I will put links in the show notes, then you're just one click away. And I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.